Hello, welcome back. It is a late stream, let me tell you that. But I am here with Lily Kate.
Hey, hey.
And, we were eating sushi, and then we went to get ice cream.
We were just living the good life.
The best life ever. And, man, we got in some pretty deep conversations in Marble Slab. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Not me.
I know, not me either. I bet the people walking in thought we were insane.
Well, we kept, saying autism really loud.
Autism.
So, most definitely.
Yeah.
Blake Cressis trying to convince me that autism is not a right-wing fad. It is.
It's permanent.
Autism,
it's here to stay.
Autism is a social construct. So is transgenderism.
Yes, very true. But if you are Republican or conservative or on the right at all, you're autistic.
Apparently, every other right-wing guy who's minorly smart has it too.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
It's because the way Blake explained it is that you're hyper focused on politics. Who else wants?
And I'm like, oh, testosterone? What am I supposed to think?
Whenever you're hyper focused on one tiny thing, that's autism. That's what he said. That was his definition.
It is so irrational. It's so not true. Every right-wing guy tries to say that they're autistic, and I just can't believe it.
I will say that men can focus on one thing at a time.
Yes.
Women can focus on multiple things at once.
Yeah, men can compartmentalize, but that's biological. It's not autism.
Right. I don't know. We'll have Blake on. I've been telling you guys this for a week. We're going to have Blake on. He's going to talk about why seed oils are bad on top of why autism is good. So, can't wait for that episode.
Can't wait for that.
That's going to be great.
Anyway, back to that first comment. Can we delete feminism already?
Yes.
Well, yes. Radical feminism is the worst thing that has ever happened to women in general. Not only because it teaches women to be masculine, it is based off the assumption that women and men relate to sex, career, power, family, etc., all in the same way, which is not true. As I said, it encourages women to be masculine and to be manly. It encourages them to prioritize career, which has led to women remaining single more often, women not getting married, people not getting married, divorce rates skyrocketing, childbirth going down. That's why we have a falling birth rate, and actually the murder of 63 million babies in the past 50 years.
That is a huge one.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, because there's, 4 or 5 waves of feminism?
So technically we've recognized 3. I would argue we're in a 4th.
Yes.
First wave started really after the French Revolution and then really started getting established during the 1840s in France, came over to America, and basically the legal end goal of first wave feminism, which was the suffrage movement, was to get women the right to vote. This was spread throughout Britain. There was the suffragettes who were actual terrorists.
Right.
Okay, British terrorists, that's a real thing. And then there was the suffragees or whatever in the United States. They wanted the right to vote. Basically then, during the 20s, because obviously the 19th Amendment passed in 1920.
Right.
In the 1920s, after the amendment was passed, there was kind of this fall off of, okay, we've accomplished what we want,
right?
But we have this idea of women's rights. What else do we want to do with it? Then the Depression happens, then World War II. No one's focused on political activism and rights and stuff within the United States. However, there's one woman, her name is Betty Friedan. You've totally heard her name. She has this book called The Feminine Mystique. This book argues, it's out of the war, it says, well, all these women who were making the economy go round while all the men were off at war during World War II, all these women ended up being displaced from jobs because all the veterans came back and needed jobs. Yeah. And so, but the women were like, hey, I actually really liked being in this job. I don't want to go back home. So basically then Betty Friedan, in this moment, she wrote a book called The Feminine Mystique that argued that women and men relate to sex, career, family, life, and pretty much everything else in the same exact way, which is not true.
Right.
Then after that, we have the escalation of what we know as second wave feminism, which is the sexual revolution, the rise of abortion, reproductive health care, and, all those very toxic ideas. And then we have third wave feminism, which really started in the 1990s, and this was a new version of hypersexualized feminism which had an element of gender ideology. I'm going at like 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But I'm going 45 in like a school zone right now because we're going really fast.
Yeah.
You know, there's
we
a lot.
Can dissect it.
There's a lot
all
more.
The other issues.
But then basically third wave feminism. Second wave feminism had an emphasis on androgyny, so erasing the distinctions between genders.
Gender roles and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were like, oh, like women with big shoulder pads and all that. But then third wave feminism was like, actually, I'm going to use my sexual power as a woman to like scorn men and like do all this stuff. So then you get this culture of hypersexualized women, this boss babe mentality and attitude, and, you know, the consequences of the sexual revolution. So this is what I would argue is fourth wave feminism, is most people are like, oh, feminism just means equality between the sexes. I mean, sure, that's what it meant in the 1920s. It doesn't mean that anymore. But we're left with a generation of hypersexualized women who don't understand how to be in relationships, how to date, what their priorities are, or even what they even want because of the permanent lies of feminism.
Right.
So that's the last 200 years of feminism, and we're going to get into why it sucks.
And it's been a ride. And I would say, so something that I thought of about the whole feminist movement, it's similar to like, I would say the LGBTQ movement, where they started with asking for these things, like a list of things they wanted. Women's right to vote.
Yeah.
You know, being, you know, equal and things like that.
Yeah.
And then they got that, but it wasn't good enough. So then they continued to ask for more and more and more, and that's why it's developed into what it is today.
Yeah.
And
fully.
it's become way too damaging.
It's developed into a women's supremacy movement. I mean, once after the civil rights happened, you were granted every single right that you could ever want under the law, and, you know, we have equal perceived value before God. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, women, like we tend to do, started to create more problems. And they were like, actually, let's keep adding more to this because we have all this pent-up energy. Yeah. And so that's really... Yeah, I mean, it really is tragic the way that feminism has unfolded, because, you know, it's hard because everybody's like, oh, well, feminism's so good. And I'm like, yeah, it started out as good. It's a lot different from what it was in the 1920s, which was a suffrage, not a movement that can't even define the word woman, and simultaneously wants to erase women and get them out of the homes, but also wants to erase men because men are trash and toxic, apparently. So it's like... Feminism actually doesn't know what it's doing now, and that's why it's such a vulnerable and easy target for someone like moi and you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because, like, they actually don't have any goals that they're trying to reach anymore, because
they don't have anything else that they need.
Any means of equality have been achieved.
Exactly. And it really begs the question, because I know we've still been asking to this day, what is a woman? But on top of that, what is the feminist movement if they're now claiming that men can do all of these things? And why are they quite literally taking every single thing that's special and unique and empowering for a woman and making it inclusive? Like, what is women's rights? And
if everyone can be a woman.
Exactly.
No, fully.
And why is everybody getting so upset when they are the ones taking away all of these things? If feminism is supposed to be empowering towards women, why are you granting the right for men to be in women's sports? Why are you granting the right for men to be pregnant? Why are all of these things that are dividing the two genders and just meshing them all together? And then, you know, still wanting to throw in women's rights right there.
Yeah. It's funny, whenever abortion conversation comes around, they remember what a woman is real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, it was all about women's rights when Roe was overturned. But literally the week before that, it was about, no, men are women. Men can become women. And I'm like, you know, the true feminists would be appalled at this, because they worked their whole lives to create apparatuses that were strictly female. Pageants, women's, like curricula, women's schools, finishing schools. Let's talk about getting women into higher education in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, women's sports, that's a whole industry in itself. So we've literally created industries, and they used to have like festivals that were just for women. Like, there's so much stuff that is specifically tailored to keeping women exclusive and happy. And all of a sudden, in the last 15 minutes, we've decided to fold in on all of that and wreck all of the progress of these feminists doing their women-only stuff. And it's pretty tragic.
I just don't understand where we lost sight of that there's some things that women are really, really good at that men aren't. There's some things that men are really good at that women aren't. And why can't we embrace that? Because the overall goal is, one, for a man and a woman to come together and create and build a relationship and a family and everything like that. And that's why men and women balance each other out. Now, women are competing to do the same things as men and trying to be better at it, which is where the whole feminist overpowering women movement thing comes from in the first place. I don't understand why we can't appreciate, we are good cleaners. And, we're better, there's other things we can do than do dishes and cook.
We cook with more love. What can you say? You gotta keep it in the family.
Exactly. But, there are things that women are good at, like being caregivers, being mothers, being teachers for their children, being loving, because women literally calm men down.
Yeah.
Women calm men down. Men without women are
just tyrannical
erratic. We
war.
can talk about that in a minute too.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. That's really good.
And it's just women can embrace being women for who we are, and that should be empowering enough because of the power that we carry as women.
Yeah.
It's not about, I can do a construction job because I'm a woman.
And notice, whenever women are I'm going to go into the workforce, it's never to be a bricklayer. It's never to be a person who's going to drive a dump truck. We want the nice hospitality jobs and all the...
A nurse, a boutique owner.
That is cultural, that is caring, that is nurturing, that is building up something that is directly personal.
Yeah.
We're not interested in designing computer softwares because we like relationships with our people more, you know? No, but you're getting at something really powerful there. It was talking about not only how women calm men down, but we civilize men.
Yeah.
And there would be constant war if it weren't for women. Mm-hmm. But also the war would be purposeless because men would have nothing to fight for. Yeah. So it's this really interesting balance of people coming together and creating actual peace and harmony. And, but again, that's the lie. Women began comparing themselves to men. And I was reading this study, and I'm doing a podcast about analyzing the study. And it's a Yale study, talking about the decline in women's happiness. And they were compared to the 1970s, women report significantly lower levels of happiness. And I kid you not, the first reason was, women sometimes get overwhelmed because she's not only a single mom, but she's also the breadwinner, and she's having to fill the role of mom and dad. And I was they're so close to figuring out the solution. Yeah. The solution that we conservatives have been saying forever. Yep. But they're not willing to say it because they just want to analyze why women are unhappy. Yeah. Then they want to fill them with more material items, and they want to just ship them off to Nordstrom or Chanel and say, go buy another purse because that will make you happy. Then go home and sleep with your 17th boyfriend. Yep. That will make you happy, but it's not. Feminism is a lie.
Yeah, that is true.
You should clip that part
and
tag me.
Oh, I will. Believe me, I will. You touched on a good part about how men need something to fight for, and that's something we were talking about in the ice cream store earlier. There was a point that you made. Remember when I looked at you and I was like, remember that point, because we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Do you remember what it is?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm working on it. I think... Oh, yes. It was the dating point, right?
I think so.
Okay. So, basically, I got into this slight, not really a debate even, but a conversation with our man, Autistic Blake.
Shout out Autistic Blake.
Shout out. You're always good. But after he'd finished telling me why all right-wing men are autistic, we talked about, he was like, women are like dogs. And I was like, okay, can you explain?
Elaborate, please.
Yeah, I was like, I need a little more context here. And then we got talking about dating. And I said, well, my big critique of the right-wing dating scene, especially with, these guys who are ultra masculine, and then these women who are e-girls and kind of
obsessed
hoes
with themselves.
Online. Yeah. All that. My critique was, men always use the Ephesians 5, wives submit to your husband's Bible verse when they're dating. And that's not even the start of the context of where that verse pertains to. So Ephesians 5, obviously, it's like, wives submit to your husbands, husbands love your wives, submit to each other like Christ submitted to the church, because this is da-da-da-da-da, and it's all perfect. And it describes marriage as an institution that is reflective of Christ's love for the church. It's really interesting because in dating, when you are dating, the woman is the selector. She's up here. The man is pursuing her, doing everything that he can to win her over. Finally, then, when she makes the decision, he asks the question. I mean, that's asking the question, will you marry me? Like, that's a test of his audition, basically, to be her husband.
It's like the final test.
Yeah, and then, in a way, in marriage, it becomes equal, right? Wives submit to your husbands. Husbands love your wives and submit to each other. We conveniently leave out the last two parts of that verse.
That's true.
No, but it's just really interesting because right-wing men like to be like, woman, obey me while I'm dating you. And the response should be, then you should marry me if you want to use that type of language, right? So it's just a critique I have over what right-wing guys are doing and dating. Although I think that was probably not the point, but I think it's an important point.
That was another one.
Yeah.
But
I think the other one was the deepest question thing.
Oh, what's that one?
So a woman's deepest question that she has to know in life is, am I loved and am I safe?
Yes.
And I forgot to add this one, but am I beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, beauty is one of the things that motivates and blesses women and blesses the world through us, I guess, because women are more reflective of the heart, the part of Christ's heart that is like beauty, right? Men represent strength. We represent beauty and tenderness. Yeah. And a man's deepest question is, am I capable? Can I rise to the occasion? Can I overcome this challenge? Do I have what it takes? And if you're perceptive, you can read into that and you can say, okay, so men and women answer each other's deepest questions. A man can love and be capable of winning over their wives. That's what dating is for, to win over her and rise to the occasion. And then women, you feel safe and secure and loved because your husband is loving you in the way that you've basically like taught him to, in a way, like the way that is. You
kind of have to teach them.
Yeah. Not that we're sexist in the other way. We love men. We love all the men. Well, specifically our two men who belong to us.
Men, us, our men, other men. Stay away.
We appreciate you.
Good job. You do you. We've got them over here.
Yeah, we have our ultra masculine men. Now it's your turn to be ultra masculine.
Exactly.
But basically, they answer each other's deepest questions. And that is why the roles of marriage and dating are so important. And that's why feminism sucks, is because it denies women of ever getting an answer to her deepest question. Am I loved? Well, you're never going to find out because you're going to be sold out to a corporation and you're never going to get married.
Right.
That's why you're miserable.
The feminist movement quite literally just takes all of that and is like, well, you can do it on your own. And, you don't need a man. You can go whore yourself out to 20 men in order to feel empowered, or you can go get a full-time job so you don't have time to raise a family and do what your inner deep core wants you to do. Yeah. Because that was another thing we were talking about, is that it's like almost inherent. Like, we want these things. We want to love. We want to care. We want to
bring life and beauty into things that there wasn't necessarily beauty there before, or life, and we want to bring in this air of like femininity. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's an air of femininity that we want to naturally bring, and every woman has it, but feminism actively stifles the, I guess, for lack of a better word, the production of femininity, to really manifest. And that is why society has such low standards, because women, we are the gatekeepers to culture. Yeah. I mean, we set the societal standards every time. Yeah. Men will always adhere to those. It's so funny. Men, like right-wing guys, they really like to say, oh, well, women will just change their behavior if we stand up. And I'm like, no, that's not, I don't think that's true. I think if women hold a higher standard, men at their very basest desires will understand that.
Yeah. That's also what we
with their
talked about
instincts.
Earlier. Yeah.
And then they will adhere to those standards. But women, have been giving up the standards and giving themselves away.
It's really like, it's a cultural balance because men want women who are pure and nice and sweet and caring, and women want men who will protect and provide and be tough and be strong, men, you know? And the
lifting
men,
weights.
yeah, lifting constantly, lifting twice our body size.
Yeah.
Or body weight.
Yeah, that should be the goal.
Exactly.
Don't marry me until you can lift twice my body weight.
Exactly. Exactly what you're saying.
Sorry,
basically,
yeah. Masculinity, femininity, what we both want. We inspire it out of each other. And that's the part that people are like so lost at. Women are the only ones who can reel the strength out of a man, but like harness it. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
So basically, instead of it being, oh, women need to get better for men or men need to get better for women, it's a cultural balance between the men and the women because, like I just said earlier, you know, women want this in a man, men want this in a woman, and it's like right now our society is crumbling to pieces because women are going out of their way to sleep around and want to be more masculine than they need to be and trying to empower themselves to overcome everybody else. And then men are becoming very weak and wimpy and lame because they are, one, eating soy, and two, just completely losing it.
And their moms probably took a lot of Tylenol when she was pregnant with him.
Exactly. Do not take Tylenol. Tylenol, bad.
Bad, very bad. And something I think that we need to say too is like masculinity is not just contingent on workout and how much whey protein you eat, because like that would be ridiculous.
It's much more than just going to the gym at 5 a.m. every morning.
Masculinity is the spiritual harnessed power of being a man. It's the power that is used oh my goodness. It's the power that's used to like protect and defend your loved ones. So you can still do that as an IT guy, but it is very clearly and most bestly exemplified by being going to the gym.
Yeah, I don't think your muscle mass defines you as masculine necessarily.
No, it just really helps with the first impression. And if you want to attract a super hot woman, she's going to like be looking for a super hot dude. So that's really just to help y'all out there.
If you've always been a protector, then that's good. That's like step one.
Yeah.
Protect, provide.
There's nothing. Yeah, I mean,
it's really
all
easy.
you need are 2 P's: protect and provide.
For that much at all.
Just like $400K income yearly. Just kidding.
A house to decorate.
Literally, okay, for real. A house to decorate and then like enough money to take care of all of my 9 children.
Exactly. Give us the money, give us the house, and we will do the rest. The dishes. We'll vacuum. I love vacuuming.
Vacuuming's like actually the best cleaning. Yeah, I don't know why. I hate sweeping.
Oh yeah. I used to beg my parents to vacuum, but refused to sweep.
Never sweep.
Yeah.
You know, I've enjoyed doing the dishes lately though. I'll be honest.
I begged my parents.
It's like it's like immediate gratification.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our rant about feminism and femininity and having a positive moral vision of what to replace feminism with, because women, just look around. We're skankier, more unhappy, and less capable of even doing anything expected of us.
True. And you tried to say, who's the last woman you knew who sewed something?
Yeah.
My sewing machine's right over there.
I know, I saw it when I came in and I was like, nice.
Yeah. That's from the little scrunchy business I used to have.
Oh, entrepreneur Kaylee.
Oh my gosh, yes. I started 20 businesses.
I mean, that's how you gotta do it. I mean, I started a sunglasses business. Now I have 300 pairs of these in my closet. I'll never run out of some. Oh yeah, I'll bring some up for you. Yeah.
I'll give you some scrunchies.
Anyway, masculinity is very important because masculinity builds society. Women insert beauty into society and make society worthwhile, and we raise up the next generation. So it works together in this very beautiful way. Men build the apparatus of institution and culture. Women then fill it with all things good, from cupcakes to handmade clothing to pretty flowers. And that's what makes life good. So we complete each other. That didn't really fill up an hour.
I know, right? Fuck fast.
We do.
We just get straight to the point. That's the thing.
I mean, that is the point.
Oh my gosh. Really, what's your point?
My point is feminism sucks and embrace femininity.
Will said we lost sight when we lost God, which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, when society stopped including God into everything, that's when we started. I mean, you're literally looking for fulfillment within yourself, and that's never going to happen.
Which is Satanism.
Which is why, and you feel so empty. Hookup culture, you feel empty. That's what one of them was saying earlier.
Yeah.
And it's like all of these things that you try to find, and that I look at the feminist movement promising all of these materialistic things to women as like literally Satan holding a piece of candy and being like, here. If you
but like
here.
even worse, the candy wrapper's like empty. It doesn't even have anything in it. Like
you
don't get any of it.
Exactly.
You no reward, no fulfillment, and it's immediately depleting.
Promise after promise without anything ever coming, because you will leave feeling empty and broken and sad. And that's what the feminist movement wants, because they want to break you down so that you rely on them more. And that could be used for anything.
Fully, yeah.
The government doing that to you.
Yeah.
All of it.
Feminism, it's a very powerful political force because it has gotten more women into the workforce, which when you have more workers, you don't have to pay your workers as much because the value of the labor, it's like labor inflation, right? Yeah. So you get a lot of women into the workforce. You don't have to pay them as much for the expertise. And simultaneously, everything's becoming way more expensive. So one-income households are becoming exceedingly rare, which is a really big issue. And this is one thing I want to critique the conservative/Republican Party on. Y'all need to be running on the idea that we can have one-income households again.
Yes.
That's like a great positive moral vision, because the sad truth is not every feminist is a radical alt-right or alt-left gender ideologue, militant, pro-abortion, murder, baby, cat freak. Right. Not everyone is that. Some women may have, basic ideas of what they think feminism is, but, eventually their biological timer will go off. They want to be married. They want to have children. All of a sudden, there's not good men, first of all. But second, they're drowning in student debt. We can't afford anything unless we have two incomes. So women are forced out of the homes and not in a place where they feel like they're taking care of their children. Because it is really sad. I mean, I almost find that worse. Radical feminists are choosing to do that, right? They're choosing to leave.
Yes.
But a mom who cannot be there because they can't actually afford life without two jobs, I mean, that has to hurt so much. And all of a sudden, your kids at public school, they come back as a he, him.
He, him, they, them.
Right. I mean, that's brutal. Yeah. And not every woman wants to be a boss queen CEO. And so we need to be able to get back to that. No, you were talking about something really important too. Back to feminism. Yeah. This is what's so ugly about abortion. Aside from the fact that you're killing a baby, right? Yeah. Abortion, if you listen to Janet Yellen, who's a Treasury Secretary, she said, we want to encourage, through the federal government, abortion, and we want to fund abortion. Why? Because she actually said abortion keeps women in the workforce, which is better for the economy. And actually, if you get a little bit of GDP growth, then it's all worth it. That's literally what she's saying. She's saying if women stay in the workforce, that means there's more money and the economy looks like it's doing better.
They're not even hiding it anymore.
They want to kill children on the altar of money. That's fully...
Money is the root of all evil. They'll do anything for money.
Mm-hmm. No, it's actually horrifying. And they don't say it outright, but if you have two brain cells to rub together, you're like, that's exactly what they're saying. It's not about women's rights. It's not about women's health care. It's not even about women's choice. It's about keeping her in the workforce so that she can work, sell her soul to a corporation, or say she has a kid, give that kid to government daycare, pay another woman to take care of your child so that you can go get a hunchback by typing away at a computer as a law clerk for the rest of your life. How is that empowering? Being it's so funny too. If you're in a corporate job, Kaylee, you are totally replaceable. Everyone in corporate America is replaceable. everything can be learned.
Yeah.
Typing in, sending emails, marketing, all that. That can be learned. You know what is irreplaceable? The mom to a child.
Yeah.
Like, her child. Your own baby. Like, and like, a husband marries you because you're like his favorite ever.
Yeah.
You're literally irreplaceable in his life. And so I'm like, okay, what's more empowering? Being in a position where you are actually fundamentally irreplaceable from other people's lives, or in a position where you're making $2,000, $3,000 a month, but you're literally just sitting there typing, doing a job that a billion other people, and probably a guy over in India could do much better than you.
Oh, so true. See, my mindset when I get a job is they need me more than I need them. If that's not the mindset, then I'm not gonna do it, because I'll put in the effort for a job, but they need me more than I need them.
Yeah, but like right now we're in working age, so it's kind of rich for us to say.
Yeah, I will say that.
But also, like, we're doing this now so that we can understand what it's like to like be working and building our careers.
Yeah.
But like, we're not rejecting the idea that one day it'll be even better.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like, babies.
Babies. Woo-hoo.
I love children.
I worked in a daycare, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh. Was it so fun?
It was really fun. I worked
Lots
with
of spit up
2-year-old
probably.
class.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lots of snot.
I did the nursery for like a good week. Oh, hi, Corey. Corey's a hype man. He showed up
Corey.
on TikTok and he joined from Twitch.
We love Corey.
Everything is gonna crash. It has to. Well, the economy.
These guys are like, your audience is like really turned on by economy talk. I guess we'll talk about that more.
So true. Ooh, the economy.
Oh yeah, the economy. Men.
Stocks.
I know.
I don't know.
Bitcoin. Actually, I
Flipping that.
I actually love cryptocurrency. I think cryptocurrency is like the free speech of money.
I invested in Bitcoin and I made $10.
Woo! Big stonks. Can you put up that stonks meme?
Yes.
No, like actually, like decentralization and the blockchain are actually fundamental things that could totally change not only like the flow of information, and then obviously the auditing of that information, but it could change the world. If people can publicly verify information by just putting it on the blockchain, then that is something that is totally incredible. So like, anyway, not to get all like too nerdy on you guys, but the blockchain is like the best thing that could have ever happened to the data world, but it's also the worst thing that could have ever happened to corruption, because if we put voting machines on the blockchain, it will be game over for the Dems forever. Because they won't be able to cheat.
Yeah, that's a really big concern coming up in the 2022 election. People are always like, oh, my vote doesn't matter because it's only one vote. Well, like actually, like will our votes actually matter?
I know, literally, when I voted in 2020 for the first time, I literally went to the people and I was like, so is my vote gonna like count, or is it gonna be flipped, or is it gonna end up in a ditch somewhere? And the lady was like, she was like really horrible. She was like an old librarian.
Aww.
But I don't know. It was more like I was saying it so the people in line would hear me, because like, you know, I'm like really freaking so loud all the time.
Now, me and Lily are gonna go watch 2,000 Mules and old YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We won't see you, but I will see you tomorrow, maybe. No, my friend Avery's coming over.
I'd rather not be based then.
Okay, Will, don't be based then. You guys may see me. No, you guys are gonna see me for 2 weeks because I'm flying to Florida on Monday. So, you guys aren't gonna see me after this.
Yeah, say your goodbyes.
It's sad. This is a good way to end it, though.
And also, Will, as long as you're autistic, you also can't be based, as we know from Autistic Blake today.
So pick one.
So actually, well, no, you can pick both or neither.
Oh, well, good. Congratulations. You're not autistic. All right, we gotta go. Love you guys.